Hello and welcome once again to the business programme here on Kirklees Local TV. Business growth and improving productivity are critical issues we have often mentioned here on the business programme. Our standards of living are dependent on these factors, and there are lots of support initiatives available regionally to help businesses both grow and become more productive. However, it's often been suggested to me that there's never been such a confusing, fragmented situation regionally when it comes to what business support is available and how to access it. To help rectify that, I've invited along today Gill Watson, who's the SME Growth Manager for Kirklees. Gill, please, it's good to see you, and please enlighten us. What does your role as a growth manager involve day to day?
Well, my day-to-day role would be spent meeting with businesses in the Kirklees area. I only work with small and medium-sized businesses, and my job is to form a relationship with them, get to know what they're trying to achieve with their business and what problems they may be encountering, and then I'll offer them, signpost them to support that can help overcome those barriers and help with their growth plans.
And sort of before taking up the current role that you've got, what was your background and relevant experience?
Well, I've had a whole career working with Kirklees Council, originally in a finance background, so I started in central finance and then moved throughout the council in different finance roles until I managed some business and enterprise centres for the council. And started to encounter businesses on a day-to-day basis as their landlord. And I did that role for over 15 years. By that time I'd got a degree in business studies, and was living next door to my tenants day in, day out for 15 years.
Yeah. So that must have been a fascinating time. You must have sort of learnt so much about a diverse range of industries and the problems and the issues that they go through from birth to growth to decline, I suppose, in many respects as well.
It was an amazing experience.
And there are lots of support initiatives out there, aren't there? Can we sort of just explore maybe a couple of them and see the ones that maybe have most benefit to local businesses? I think the first one of that maybe to look at is it something called a digital enterprise programme?
Yes, well, the digital enterprise programme is actually offering 3 strands of support for small and medium-sized enterprises. So it can offer connectivity vouchers to help businesses to improve their broadband speeds. It offers some workshops through a digital knowledge exchange. But what most businesses find of real interest is the fact that there is a capital grant to help businesses to make investments in hardware, software that can help with their digital transformation, as the programme puts it. Sometimes these grant programmes want job creation in return. This programme is wanting that digital transformation. That's what they want businesses to do. So there's a nice grant, 50% towards the cost of purchases, and that grant ranges from £2,000 to £12,500.
And of course, with it being a grant, that's non-repayable in a way, is it? Absolutely.
It's not a loan, it's a grant, it's non-repayable.
So it's a fantastic opportunity for businesses to upskill themselves upgrade themselves from a technology basis.
The whole package there with that scheme, from the connectivity to what you might need through the knowledge exchange to buying the kit that you do want. So people have been buying VoIP systems, having customer login portals attached to the websites. So I would explain to businesses that if you just want to rebrand your website, this programme won't like that because there's no transformation there. But if you're adding some functionality, maybe linking to some back office software or that customer login portal,
or maybe developing online sales or something like that,
they really are for those engaged in business to business activity. They will allow a little bit of B2C, but they would be looking at minimum 80% business-to-business activity.
Okay.
With that particular scheme, you can only apply successfully once. So businesses who are interested in that, they really need to think carefully about what they want and don't rush, because the programme just launched in September and it will be around until May 2022. Having said that, it's very, very
I'd heard it
popular.
was very popular, yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, I could say as well that in the past, a lot of support programmes have always been focused on job creation, haven't they? In a perverse way, that's alien to the concept of trying to improve productivity, isn't it? But I believe there's now a scheme with the emphasis purely on improving productivity, particularly when we have sort of virtually full employment, unfilled vacancies and key skill shortages. Then we've got to improve productivity that way.
Yeah, exactly. So the local enterprise partnership for the Leeds City region has launched this new productivity pilot, which again is a capital grant for small and medium-sized enterprises. And it's instead of asking for jobs in return for the grants, they're wanting businesses to improve their productivity. And it's just a pilot scheme at the moment, and it's opened on the 1st of November, and it will close for applications on the 31st of January, and it's operating very much like a competition. So what will happen at the end of January, once all the applications are on the table, they'll be assessed, and the best ones will be put forward for the grant, and they'll be notified at the end of February. The successful businesses will need to have made their expenditure on their project by September.
Okay, so it's a quick scheme in that respect.
It is a quick scheme, and it is competitive. Again, it's business to business once again, and it's for key sectors of industry. So that would be manufacturing,
right,
creative and digital, low carbon and environmental, business and professional. But this did run once before as a pilot, so we do have some companies in Kirklees on the first pilot scheme now, and it's obviously proven to work well, hence they're running the pilot again. And the idea being that this is potentially the way that this grant will continue to operate going forward, as you say, because we don't have a problem with unemployment. And some people, if they're buying a robot, for instance, with the capital grant, it's very difficult to ask that business to then create a job, because in effect they've just bought a robot that would be replacing that role.
Yeah, although I would think there is a caveat in the scheme, I think, in that where it's not about replacing jobs. It's trying to maintain a level of employment, but improve productivity and get the sales, the growth output from the same number of people that are there.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is something that we have to do.
Yes.
And we sort of mentioned these capital investment schemes. Lack of capital investments usually is one of the key ingredients, isn't it, in not improving productivity. But I think there's sort of a couple of other schemes maybe still kicking around, are there, that are there to help with capital investment?
Yeah. So the local enterprise partnership again has a business growth programme capital grant, and this is one which does require job creation at a rate of probably one job per, on average, £10,000 of grants received. And that is the standard LEP grant. But that's why they've brought in this productivity pilot. So anyone who's not successful with productivity pilot, they could potentially look for support through business growth programme, but they would be subject to that job creation element.
And there's something called the Positive Actions programme as well.
Well, what that is, that the LEP has got lots of different grant schemes trying to achieve different things, and where a company's receiving a grant of more than £25,000, we're asking for additional commitments from the business.
Okay.
And a lot of businesses in Kirklees are already doing these additional things, so it's not a huge step for them to do. Examples of that might be to have a skills audit of your staff and look at putting some training plans in place. Okay. Looking at having an energy audit as well, a similar thing. And there are grants associated with any recommendations as a result of your energy audit. And it could be a Give an Hour campaign, linking with schools to try and work with school children and college pupils who might be looking at their career options and getting a real understanding as to what business is really like and what businesses need the young people coming through to have in terms of knowledge and skills.
So we talked a lot about capital. You mentioned skills there, a skills audit. Obviously, skills improvement are critical in terms of improving productivity. Yeah. And there are still lots of existing schemes, I think, to help with that, aren't there?
Yes, we've got a skills service, and that's currently offering 40% grants towards the cost of a range of training courses. They have a catalogue of courses which you can find on the West Yorkshire Consortium of Colleges website, and they're adding to that catalogue all of the time. Kirklees College has a range of courses in that catalogue, but it could be that the skills training that you need is offered in Calderdale or in Leeds, and that is fine. You're in the Leeds City region, so you're eligible to have your training there. And additional courses are being added all the time as the skills service are identifying more specialist support that businesses might need. Yeah.
And that contributes 40%, I believe.
40% grants towards the cost of that training course. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I said at the introduction, it was a confusing picture. It's wonderful to talk to an expert who can actually understand it and explain the different schemes to us. So thank you ever so much for taking the time out today and helping us understand about these schemes. And for all those that are wanting to invest in their business and improve their productivity, etc. in Kirklees, anyway, Gill's one of the people to come and talk to. So thank you again once for that. And I look forward to seeing you next time here on the business programme on Kirklees Local TV. Goodbye.